Is Carrie White crazy? Carrie White, of course, from Stephen King's novel and the movie adaptation, is one of the most compelling figures in horror. So many layers of complexity to this lady. Is she a victim of madness, or is she a product of what the world turned her into? And we got to look at Carrie in a couple of ways. First of all, she's totally crazy by the end of the movie. She completely has a psychotic break, and we'll get into that as well. But even going back to her early development, like her parental influence was her mother, right? Margaret White, who was a very abusive religious zealot who instilled in her like shame, fear, self-hatred, self-loathing. And then she goes to school and she's relentlessly bullied. This leads to alienation, this internalized self-loathing. So her identity is never allowed to fully flourish. She's always kind of beaten down. She's forced into these extremes of being this sinful abomination, especially when her powers come out and her mother sees that, and this pathetic loser according to her peers. So she has this sense of fragility about her. She's caught between this massive repression, because she is repressed. She's completely in a shell, but she's got all this rage that's bottling up into her. She's both submissive and seething, and that's the thing. She's seething this entire time, and we're not seeing any of the real signs of this suppressed violence that clearly was right there. Now, how she sees herself is a big part of this. Because of her mother's, steady message, she's unclean, she's unworthy. She is the damned, But as she starts to get her telekinesis, she starts to see that there's things about her that are special. She has a sense of control. This is self-determination. She's reading about it. She's studying about it. So she gets this kind of dual image. She's this worthless girl and this vengeful goddess who's powerful at the same time. And you get this disassociation between the two. It's like a split where her powers become an extension of that bottle fury. That side has all the power involved with this. The other side is all wrapped into the meekness and the submissiveness, survival skills. So she doesn't even believe that she deserves love until later. So even, kindness like Tommy asking her to go to prom, she sees this as another setup for humiliation. And most of the time it would be. Like, she's not wrong for this, right? Whether this would end up being a cruel joke. And you see all these classic symptoms with her. Deep depression, hopelessness, alienation, which they portrayed very well in the films. She's got this hyper-vigilance based on her traumatic from her mom because she was physically abusive. And she's always got these visions that are going on as well. Now, these are not hallucinations. These are fragments of her emerging powers, which is scary not understanding those things. And then we see full-on disassociation at the prom massacre. She's very much detached. If you look in her eyes, it's a completely different person as that persona has really taken over. Now, her telekinesis is as much a manifestation of all of these issues coming together at once. Very symbolic. And when she's afraid, she has minor outbursts. When she's being shamed, she kind of has a loss of control. And door slam, it's more powerful. When she goes into a full rage, it's apocalyptic, right? Like the prom massacre, which we saw. And this, the telekinesis is a embodiment of all this repressed trauma and it explodes outward. It's not insanity that she has. It's her environment that kind of has weaponized her. If we look at her in a couple of different lights, she would be a different person. The event obviously is the prom event, right? And again, she's dealing with an unparalleled level of humiliation. And this pig blood symbolizes this ultimate rejection of her femininity, of her sexuality, of her very humanity. And so this is a snap because she's taking years of abuse. And then she has this moment of massive acceptance at the highest level. Everything's going well. She's with the guy that she would want to be with. She's looking great. Everybody's treating her well. And she was winning with everybody else except this, this vengeful pair. So this turns into, of course, they all laugh, right? Everybody laughs at her because even though it's messed up. And that really does have a psychic rupture at that moment. I don't think we've seen anybody. It's even the Hulk has greater stages, right? Hulk don't go from 0 to 60 in a way that Carrie White did. But that is, that psychotic break in that moment. She did completely snap. And so that destructive persona, took completely over. She was wrath. She was vengeance. She was hunting people down. It was brutal. So Carrie wasn't inherently sane. She wasn't born with anything that would have done this to her, but it was over time. She was abused into fragility by her mother. She was bullied into rage by her peers, and she was pushed beyond repair by this final betrayal at the prom. So her madness, I think, is a reflection of what society is. If she had been nurtured her telekinesis would have been a manifestation of something wonderful, not some kind of weapon. So I give a big like, damn, that's messed up to Carrie White, because yeah, you should have been this beautiful flower. They turned you into this raging machine.